Good morning, Shemstars. Welcome to class. Hope you all are fine. Today we will start with a new chapter, Social Movement, chapter number 8 of Sociology, class 12th, where a group of people come together in order to bring about change in society in regard to certain social issues with the aim of changing people's perspectives about that aspect. These are known as a social movement or a kind of movement. Like protest is also one kind of movement. Dissent is a form of dissatisfaction that people feel about a certain issue, and when it comes out openly, it is in the form of a protest. So, during colonial rule, there were many social reformers who wanted to change the life of the depressed class and few social evils. Now social movements are present today also, but the issue have changed. They have become global and have a difference there. Example, environment, domestic violence, etc. Next we discuss about the feature of social movement. First, that requires sustained collective action over time. Such action is often directed against the state and takes the form of demanding changes in state policy or practice. Second feature, we can say that collective action must be marked by some degree of organizations. This organization may include a leadership and a structure that define how members relate to each other, make decisions, and carry them out. Those participating in a social movement also have shared objectives and ideologies. A social movement has a general orientation or way of approaching to bring about or to prevent change. These defining features are not constant. They may change over the course of a social movement's life. Social movements cannot change society easily, since it goes against both interest and values. There is bound to be opposition and resistance. But over a period of time, changes do take place. Next is counter movement. Counter movements sometimes arise in defense of status quo. There are many instances of counter movements. When Raja Ram Mohan Roy campaigned against Sati and formed the Brahmo Samaj, defenders of Sati formed Dharm Sabha and petitioned the British not to legislate against Sati. When reformers demanded education for girls, many protested that this would be disastrous for society. When reformers campaigned for widow remarriage, they were socially boycotted. When the so-called lower caste children enrolled in schools, some so-called upper caste children were withdrawn from the schools by their families. Next we talk about sociology and social movements. In a country, social movements aims at changing some aspect of society. French Revolution against monarchy, when people were suffering, depressed, and wanted freedom and equality. Same industrial revolt started from Britain. That was also a protest by common man for paid low wages and treated badly by the Britishers. According to Emile Durkheim, social movement can lead to disintegration or disorder of society. Society is more important than individual. So Emile Durkheim spoke about division of labor, social fact, society and religion. And social movement usually aim at improving the life of depressed class, and sociology is the study of society. Poor people, depressed section, express themselves through protest as they have no other way of doing so. Next we discuss about the theories of social movement. First is theory of relative deprivation. Everyone is deprived of something, but every deprivation does not lead to social movement. However, this theory states that when a particular group is deprived by any basic necessity, it will lead to the social movement. The basis of this theory is that the individual feels resentful, means unhappy with the situation. Secondly, there has a psychological factor which convinces them that they are deprived. There are some limitations also in this theory. First, that every deprivation should not or will not lead to a social movement. Secondly, deprivation is not enough for a social movement, because for social movement many other factors are also to be involved in that. Only then it can take a shape of a social movement. Now next theory is theory of collective action, given by Olson, who states that every individual who is part of a social movement have a self-interest. As soon as their self-interest is fulfilled, they leave the social movement. The basis of this theory is human rational thinking. Why should I be part of a social movement if I don't benefit from that movement? Theory of resource mobilization. Next theory is theory of resource mobilization, given by Zalt. They said everyone in a social movement need not have self-interest. They said social movement is successful if one is able to mobilize resources. Example, Anna Hazare 2011 did not have self-interest. Here also we have some limitation. According to sociologists, people can create resources. They don't have to mobilize them. A social movement need not depend on existing resources. New identities, new resources, etc. are created. For example, freedom struggle, no money, political party, but generated resources in manpower, good leaders, etc. Thank you, Shamstars. That's all for today. You can drop your queries on the Google Classroom. Take care.